right, Dave. So where would you see both of these trailers in the U.S. market?
Okay, so there are two different animals. All right, so the camper is more for the person that's going to be a weekend warrior or 1 to 2 to 3 week trip. So they're not living out of it because it's just over time. I think you'll find that you want a little bit more creature comforts. Not that there's not a lot of creature comforts in the camper, but it's not. I wouldn't recommend it for long-term living. We get that question asked all the time, especially now. People are looking to live full-time in a trailer. I would not recommend the camper for that. So weekend warrior guys that want to go out, like you want to hit all the gravel roads out there, all off-road, like wherever you want to go with that trailer. Yeah, out west, there's a ton of pure land management land out there that you can use. East, it's a little bit more restricted. They lock down a lot of that stuff, but there still are a lot of great campsites and a lot of off-road trails that you can go with out east. The camper would be fine in any of those areas. Now the caravan, I'd feel comfortable with people that want to go for longer term out. So if they want to be out 1, 2, 3 months, it's a camper that you can live in. It has inside and outside cooking if you want to. Just a lot more amenities inside, a little bit more space to stay inside with. Again, this trailer can go anywhere you want to take it. If you want to go across that river to where that campsite is that nobody's at, do it. Obviously, don't get stuck in the river, but so I think they're highly versatile. Long-term stay, definitely this one. Short-term, do the camper. Now, our other models, the cruiser models, you could live your life in those. Like they are. In fact, we have customers that buy those that their goal is that's their new home. So look at the cruiser models if you're going long-term type of stay, like full-timers as they call them. That's what I'd recommend the cruiser class.
Now, what about vehicles to tow with?
That's a loaded question, no pun intended, right? So I can't tell you how many times I get Jeep guys, and don't hate me, Jeep guys. I have a Jeep also, but the Jeep guys they want to tow whatever they want to tow, and they don't care what it weighs. But I would highly recommend both Jeep and Toyotas. They're not designed for towing. The Tacoma, yeah, it's a truck, but it's terrible at towing unless you do some certain things to it. Stiffen up the rear suspension. You can either do that with like an old man emu suspension, or you can do it with airbag suspension. Whatever you need to do, you need to stiffen up that rear end for towing. If not, you're going to be dragging your butt down the road with whatever trailer. It could be our trailers or any other manufacturer's trailers, just on a Tacoma especially, and any of the Jeeps, minus the Gladiator. Any of the Jeeps, you got to stiffen up that rear end. Even Gladiators have a loose rear end. The reason why it's built for off-road, right? So they need to have that articulation there. So go with what the manufacturer recommend. Legally, I'm not going to say go ahead and tow a 5,000-pound trailer with a 2,000-pound tow capacity vehicle. That's stupid. So just follow what the manufacturer recommend. You will have to do some modifications if you have certain types of vehicles.
Off-grid living. How long does a water tank last on the camper and this one behind us for an average use?
For an average use. So, for example, we have an abnormally large family. So my wife and I, we have 10 kids, as you know. 5 girls and 5 boys. Yes, they all are. All of ours are ours. No adoptions, no twins. My wife's a saint. But so we were out at the Outer Banks last week for a week, and we went through basically all of our cooking. Not our drinking water. We brought our own drinking water, but cooking, cleaning, all that other stuff, showers, with basically the water that was on board the camper. We did replenish it at the very end, just to make sure I didn't run out of water when we were in the middle of showers for the kids and stuff. So from a quantitative perspective, it highly depends on what you're using it for. Like, are you taking a shower every single day? If you do, you're going to blow through your water very quickly. But if you're using it for cooking and just washing up your dishes, you can be out for a week or so, and then you'll need to replenish your water. We typically don't drink out of the tanks in any of our trailers just because sometimes we maintain them, sometimes we don't. So we'll just bring bottled water or a big jerry can of water with us. We use that for drinking water. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Now, what about for the fuel? With on the campers, you carry two 20-pound propane tanks. And then the diesel, how long on just for average cooking and for heating and stuff like that.
So if you're doing for the propane, if you have two 20-pound propane tanks, you could last for a long time on that with our cooking. We went through about 10% cooking for a week for 12 people.
That's your average home grill.
Yeah, like you can go forever. Like a home grill, like you really have to fill up that tank, right? So that's the propane side. Now the diesel side, they also sip the diesel. A 5-gallon jerry of diesel will last you probably a month worth of heating, interior-wise, hot water, and then cooking easily. You can get through that. But again, it's a use case. As an engineer, I can't give you like, hey, this is what it is.
But
that's solid. On average, if you're conservative with what you're doing, then
it depends on the outside temperature and all that type of stuff.
And another thing you asked about off-grid living is the solar that we have on either of the trailers. So we have the camper doesn't come with a lot of solar standard, but you can get portable panels that we manufacture here in the U.S. And you can augment your solar with that. If you have solar, 2 of our portable 160-watt panels, you literally, if you have good sun, you can live indefinitely with enough power off that. With this guy, I didn't explain, but unique feature about the Caravans and the T-classes is that there's enough solar on there, and if you're conservative enough, you can run your air conditioners off the batteries, for the air conditioner off the battery for several hours. And you need to shut it off and then have the solar recover the power on it. But there's a good chunk of solar up on top there. You can augment it with portable panels. But you can, on the bigger T-classes, you can basically be off-grid for a really long time without having to plug in if you are not in Washington State or Oregon where it's super rainy and cloudy, but you're out in the sun. The solar will recover all that.
Maintenance, routine maintenance and upkeep and stuff like that. For probably the person who uses it, maybe uses that trailer 4 or 5 times a year versus someone who lives in it year-round. There's going to be different wear and tear items, but general maintenance.
So general maintenance, like you said, the use case of how you're using it. For the canvas trailer, so the campers, you want to keep your canvas, don't spray bug spray around it. It ruins canvas, okay? And like DEET especially is just terrible on canvas. When you do get it dirty, wash it off with just water and a rag and a mild soap, and then don't store it wet. Like if you're camping when it's wet, open it up at home and dry it out before you put it back away. I don't care what people tell you, everything will mold if it's wet. Okay?
And you're never getting the mold out.
And you're never getting that mold out. Other maintenance, service the axles every 12,000 miles, repack the grease on them. Go through and on your tank systems, drain them if you're not going to use it for a long time. Don't let water stagnate in there. Blow all those systems out. Water breeds bacteria and other things. So keep that stuff clean. In general, just go through, check nuts and bolts, check your wiring, just general maintenance stuff. There's not a lot of maintenance on these trailers.
Do you need to leave it plugged in?
No, you can turn off the dead man switch on the batteries and just that will shut everything off on the system. If you want to leave it plugged in, that's fine. Our system can handle that also. On the ones that have solar panels on them and you leave it out in the sun, those solar panels will maintain your battery system when you're storing it. So you don't need to plug it in. On these guys, there's a little bit different things. Like technically, you can leave your number 2s in the toilet in there because it will compost down. It might stink if you don't have the vent on, but you could leave it on in there. I highly recommend you get rid of your number 1s because those will stink, and just spray it down with some vinegar, and that will neutralize any of the smells there. Just general stuff. Keep stuff clean. Don't leave salt water. If you're driving down the beach, come home and pressure wash it. That's the first thing we do. Whenever we're on the beaches or even going through on salty roads in the wintertime, we'll get home, we'll pressure wash everything off and make sure everything's clean because salt will kill everything.
Northeast Ohio is
yes,
pretty bad.
If you're in the Rust Belt here, whatever they're putting down, the cancer they put on the roads here is just it's
why we can't have nice things.
Yes. Never get married, never get fully involved in your vehicle because in 3 years it will be rusted. Other maintenance, of course, leave your fridge off, or if you're gonna, you can leave it on if you want to, but if you're gonna leave it off, leave it cracked open so the mold doesn't go in there and it gets that smell inside the fridge smell. Other than that, it's pretty low.
What about the tent? Can you leave it packaged up for a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
months for the winter? And
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
no problem. Yeah, the campers, they're watertight in there, so if you have it all latched down, there's no issues inside there as far as mold or any water intrusion or anything like that.
Well, where would they find your information?
Okay, so right now, I will readily admit the website for Kimberley is being redone right now, so it's not very, there's not a lot of information out there. But you can go there and you can submit online. It's kimberleycampers.com.au or kimberleycampersusa.com. The contact information there is forms that you can fill out. Either I'll get a hold of you or, well, I will if you're here in the U.S. If you're in any other part of the world, the Australians will get a hold of you and contact you there. And we're happy to work with you. So all the trailers are highly customizable, and it can be a painful process if you let it be. But what we want to walk through, we're not selling you a trailer. We're selling you a lifestyle and a relationship. Like, we're in it for the long haul with the customers. Call us up. We'll walk through any of the steps that any questions you may have about the trailer, any options. If you need to, we'll have a video call. And in fact, right before you showed up, we had a call with the customer and we walked through several of the trailers with him. A lot of people ask, how does the whole transaction go with buying a trailer? So if I can cover that.
No, I was just going to talk about like the lead time. I called today and said I want to buy a trailer.
Yep.
From initial contact to delivery. What is?
So most of the time, we are not Amazon. It's not 2-day Prime shipping. Okay. So some of the trailers we do have on the floor here that we can sell you, but since they are highly customizable, it's going to take a little bit of time. So right now we're about 4 to 5 month lead time on the trailers. Some of the bigger ones take a little bit longer. The ordering process is super simple. Call us up, say, Dave, we want to learn about this trailer. Me or one of our guys will educate you on the trailer, and then we go through all the option sheets. We tick that off. We send that back to you, and you review it and say, yep, this makes sense. We'll send you a final invoice for it. And then once we get a deposit down, it's a 10% deposit. Once we receive that, we put you in the build schedule. Like I said, 4 to 5 months on the lead time. Throughout that build schedule, we'll give you pictures and updates of where your trailer is at. Once the chassis hits the floor, we'll take a picture of the chassis. Hey, this is your chassis. Once it hits a certain milestone in the build, then we send pictures of those, and just to confirm, like, hey, yeah, everything looks right on this build, right? There's nothing that was miscommunicated or anything like that. Like if the customer ordered black, we didn't put brown in or something like that. Like I said, there's 20 different leather choices you can get inside these trailers, so we got to get that all sorted out. Pickup and handoffs. Right now, we are located in Ohio. We are expanding our reaches out. We will have 8 or 9 dealerships throughout the U.S. to be able to support the customers. Like I said, we are selling you a trailer, but we're also selling you support and a lifestyle. We want to support you. That is our goal. Like, after sales is actually more important than the sale itself for us. We want to support you. So we're finding key dealerships that have a reputation of being able to support their customers and setting those up. If you come to my shop, though, here in Ohio, we do a little bit of old school style here. You come in, we're going to teach you about the trailer, and we're going to go over everything. We're going to set it up, take it down, whatever time it takes for you to learn it, we're going to take that time. You can videotape us during that time if you want to, and just so you have it for review. Then you come over to our house and eat dinner with me and my family. And we've done that as a custom over the last 4 years, and it works out really well because, like I said, it's a relationship that we have with our customers. So you come over, you eat at our house, you meet all of our little minions, we have fun there, and then we send you back to the shop, and you sleep in your camper in our shop. And because most likely you're going to forget 90% of the stuff I told you that day. You're going to wake up in the morning, I'll come in, and we'll review everything that you have questions about. We're probably going to have a list. We go over that, make sure you understand it, and then we pack it all up and send you on your way. For those that need training on trailer towing, we can offer that too. We have access to some off-road trails, little trail area here, and then we can do some of that trailer towing with if you request that. So again, we're in it for the long haul with the customers. We have customers all across the nation that like when they come into town here in Ohio, they'll come and stay with us or see our family, or we'll go camping with them all over everywhere. So just something that we pride ourselves in our customer service. So pretty painless process. Just be patient. I like to remind people we are not saving lives. In reality, it's just a trailer. So there will be hang-ups. Like there's certain things I can't control. I can't control pandemics. I can't control shipping, and but I can't control everything else. So those things happen. It might delay the process a little bit or advance it. Just depends. And just be patient with this. Stuff does happen. We're not saving lives. It's just a trailer. It'll be okay.
One other thing, I just thought of going internationally. So obviously you guys are probably going to go to, Canada, Mexico, and
Yep.
South America. Are obviously built in Australia. They have some pretty strict rules. Any issues with taking this internationally?
So the only hang-up that I could foresee would be if you expect to plug in the shore power of some other country. Because we're 120, 60 hertz. Most other countries are either 240, 220, 50 hertz, or 110, 50 hertz. Depends on who built your grid. So that would be the only thing. So to get around that, just bring a generator with you, and then you can just run your own system with that. The Webasto's will run off any type of diesel, so there's not any problem with low sulfur fuel or anything like that. And then propane tanks would be the other thing. So we have a little bit different fill port system than propane. So you just have to know and get the adapter for that country you're going to go in, and then go from there. But internationally, no, we have these go internationally all the time. So it's no concern. You got to be prepared.
Okay.
And know what you're getting into.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking a couple hours here, and looking forward to it. And I'll put in the description below, I'll put all Dave's contact information and your website and all that type of stuff, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys coming down.
All right, you have a great one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.